Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode on SAP UI5 and Fiori training. In the last session in SAP UI5, we talked about control hierarchy. What is control hierarchy? Control hierarchy indicates how the controls in SAP UI5 are structured. That's why it's called control hierarchy. The control hierarchy helps us to identify where all the properties, methods, events, and aggregation of a controls are coming from. If at any point of time you are unable to find certain controls and properties, you can always look at its parent control from where it may be inheriting those methods and properties. We talked about association, aggregation, composition, and we saw some important guidelines and funda forks related to SAP UI5. In today's session, we will go ahead and discuss what is the way to get started and go ahead creating our JavaScript files as part of SAP UI5. In the last class also we talked about creating our MVC based Fiori application. That's what we have seen by far in the last session. So let us go ahead now and see how can we go ahead and create our first MVC based application. But before that, there is an important interview question. The next interview question which comes along your way or people may ask you is, what is OpenUI5? How it is different from SAP UI5? Very valid interview question. You guys have also asked this question in the past. Let me quickly brief you about OpenUI5. OpenUI5 is an open source framework provided by SAP to develop web-based responsive apps. If you see, it's exactly the same definition of SAP UI5. Same definition of SAP UI5, but try to understand that it's an open source. This is the focus area for us. It's an open source, which means anybody can use this, anybody can extend this, anybody can develop an application and deliver that application without paying any licensing fees to SAP. It is an open source, comes under Apache, like Apache 2.0 license. Who created OpenUI5? SAP only created OpenUI5 for developers to use this technology. And you'll say, Anubhav, there is an open source available for this. Who will use the paid version of SAP UI5? There is a difference, guys. There is nothing like free lunch. So let's understand how the UI5 is built overall. The UI5, it starts with something called core. This is called SAP UI core. In SAP UI core, you have multiple libraries. You have multiple support libraries, like you have renderer, which I was talking about, which is the runtime component. You have routing. You have base classes, which you saw yesterday's class. The base class was nothing but SAP UI core control class. You have base classes in this. You have test frameworks inside this. You have SAP UI core libraries. All this part of MVC architecture views. This is all part of SAP UI core, the core functionality of the user interface, including the jQuery inside. SAP UI5 comes pre-packaged jQuery because it's built on top of jQuery. On top of this core layer, SAP have built OpenUI5. Okay. On top of this layer, SAP have built OpenUI5. What is OpenUI5? When it comes to OpenUI5, SAP has included the most important libraries in this, like SAP.m, SAP.UI table, SAP UI Unified, Blue Crystal theme, Grunt, UX3, TNT. All these important libraries are free for your use. So which means if you're just building an app using SAPM library, you can use also Open UI5, build this application and deliver it to anybody without any licensing concerns, guys. Open UI5, it's an open source. In fact, those who have some startup idea and you are in a dilemma which technology on the user interface side to choose, whether to go with Adobe Flex, whether to go with Android, whether to go with Angular JS, whether to go with bootstrapping, which framework, which technology on the user interface. If you are an architect, the first question which company asks you, which UI technology to use, right? There are lots of UI technologies in the market. So if some company asks you which UI technology to use, you can choose Open UI5 as one option, because it is an open source and it supports all the devices also, right? Open UI5, it's an open source, guys. And guys, that's the beauty. SAP do not double maintain this. They don't have a separate code line for Open UI5 for SAPM and separate code line for SAP UI5. SAP UI5 further on is built on top of Open UI5. It's built on top of Open UI5. So if I draw like this, SAP UI5 built on top of this. This is then comes is SAP UI5. SAP UI5 is a licensed product of SAP. The license comes along with SAP NetWeaver. SAP UI5 is an add-on. It's an more functionality, offers more functionality. That's the only difference. The base, the core is same. The core libraries, the important libraries are same. But if you want more, you want to go beyond what SAP Open UI5 offer, you can go with SAP UI5, which is a licensed product, offers more functionality, is a licensed product. Now the license is included. The cost of license is included in SAP NetWeaver subscription or SAP Cloud Platform subscription. Okay, this is where the cost is included. Then the question comes, Anubhav, what is that it offers extra? Let's talk about that. It offers something called integration with app server. It offers APF. It offers ALP, application list framework, smart templates. It offers SAP Vig library, visualization library, overview pages or overview page floor plans. These are all the additional functionality UI5 offers. If you don't want to use these analytical capabilities of Fiori, these frameworks, advanced things, you can happily choose Open UI5 for your development, for your company, for your startup. It is free for you. Clear, everybody, the difference between Open UI5 and SAP UI5. What is Open UI5? Open UI5, you can call it as a subset of SAP UI5, which includes the most important libraries like M, UI table, UI unified, and like this. What is AFP and ALP? These are frameworks built on top of UI5 further on to be able to design smart Fiori applications. Let me show you an example of this application. ALP UI5. Just to show you some picture. You might have seen this kind of user interfaces, you see. Have you seen this kind of screens, guys, ever in your company or delivered by SAP or some demos? This is a screen which is an ALP screen. Okay, analytical list page. It's called ALP, analytical list page. It's called ALP. Have you seen this kind of screen ever in any demos, in anywhere? This type of application is called OVP, overview pages. If you want to learn this ALP and OVP, it needs some understanding of annotation concept, also little bit understanding of ABAP CDS. This is what is covered in my S4 HANA and ABAP on HANA training. So please subscribe to my ABAP on HANA and S4 HANA training. You will get the flavor of it. Many of you have confusions about Anubhav, what types of Fury apps we have available, right? This was the most top asked question to me. Anubhav, please tell us which type of Fury apps are available. You can go to YouTube, search for Fury app types, search that. You will see my video, the second position at this point. You can see Anubhav Baroy here. Just go inside this video, watch this video, watch this just about like 15 or 30-minute video, please, guys, every one of you today, so that you get a fair idea. 24 minutes of video. This video will explain you the different types of Fiori app: OVP, ALP, APF, Smart Filter, BOPF based apps, extensible apps, S4HANA related apps, analytical apps, KPM modeler apps, the transactional apps. Which course will cover which type of app is also mapped here in this. So which of my course you will learn to be able to cover which type of app will be also covered in this particular video. Please watch this video. I'll put the link. Subscribe on YouTube channel, guys. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you're gonna get amazing free videos on your email box automatically. Yeah, so please subscribe my YouTube channel so you don't miss out these important and amazing videos which I'm creating on YouTube for my YouTube lovers. Yeah, so a lot of love I get from YouTube. Different countries, different locations, different parts of the world, I receive lots of emails, lots of queries, lots of uh, you know appreciation from over all across the globe, and they say, Anubhav, you're doing great job. Anubhav, I'm a fan of yours. Anubhav, I'm following you. Your videos are helping me. I've been promoted to architect position because of your videos. I want to take full course. I want to do this. I want to understand this. I am doing that on YouTube just for the community. If you watch this video, get a fair idea what type of Fury apps are we creating there, what types of apps exist, and which course you need to learn to be able to do it. Today, nobody is there to guide you in your company. Everybody is in dilemma. कोई भी कुछ भी आता है बोल के चला जाता है, आपको पता ही नहीं चलता है वो क्या बोल के गया, and then you are confused. You will put your thoughts on it, and then you assume something else, and कहीं भी जाके आप कुछ भी बोल देते हो, and that time you will feel that you don't still have the complete knowledge. So guys, I will guide you on that, don't worry, but you need to listen. Yeah, so this is the video. Please watch this video. You'll get a fair idea what types of fairy apps do exist today. Okay, coming next. So that's about the difference between Open UI5 and SAP UI5. And now the top most important topic of the entire course. This is the topmost or the most important topic of entire course, called how to create a JS file as part of our project. This could also say how to create a file. It could be controller.js. Yes, you all have seen controller, guys. We have something called MVC, in which we introduced. Every system has a controller. So that is also a .js file. You see, it's a JavaScript file. In SAP UI5 project, whenever you are creating a JavaScript file, okay, what is the way? What is the way forward? What do you use? Which syntax do you use to be able to create it? There is also a question which was asked yesterday to me, Anubhav, if I wish to use one JavaScript file in another JavaScript file, Can I reuse? Perfect question. This was one question. I parked this question because of heavy dose. In fact, in today's session, you're going to learn that actually. So that's what we're going to discuss now. It is called scaffolding template, guys. Okay. What it is called? Anybody please repeat with me what it is called? Scaffolding template. नया नाम है ना? है ना मस्त चीज? क्या मस्त नाम है? प्रोनाउंसिएशन में टाइम लगता है इसको. Scaffolding template. Come on with me, everybody. Please write in the chat window. What does it mean? Sayed, you're right. Perfect answer. Vivek, you're right. So what do you use, guys, to be able to create any JavaScript file as part of your code? Deepak, perfect answer. It's called scaffolding template. Geeta also right. Madkiran, right. Hemendra, you're right. Sridevi, right. Perfect. Srinivas, very nice. Srinivas. KS, Umar, Uday, Mad, everybody, each one of you are right. We create something called scaffolding template. Okay. Scaffolding template is what we will use to be able to create any JavaScript file, any .js, जिधर भी .js लगेगा. Golden rule, guys. Golden funda fox here. Whenever you have a .js extension, scaffolding लगेगा ही लगेगा. No doubt about it. The moment you see a file is having .js extension, you have to use scaffolding. Clear, everybody? Whenever you see any JavaScript file in your entire project, anywhere, wherever you are, doesn't matter. Whenever you see a .js file in your project, you will use a scaffold template. Now, what is scaffolding template? Scaffolding template is a syntax to define the way a JS file resource is created in SAP UI5 and referenced from outside. So you will be writing, there are a lot of JavaScript file you will be creating. Okay, you will not stop at one file. You'll be creating lots of JS files. Yeah, will be creating lots of them, and then what will happen, you would have a need to use one JS file in another. इसको इसमें reuse कर लिया, इसको इसमें कर लिया. Like this you will have lots of needs to be able to use one JS file in another JS file. Yeah, this is what will happen. They all will be interconnected with each other. Yeah, so like this you will have one JS file used by another JS file. So how do you manage all these dependencies, guys? Very important. You have to have some way by which you can manage these dependencies between these JS files. All are JS files. This is one important point. Second thing is so that you can have also a unified structure. Guys, when we develop, everybody has their own development strategy. You may have a different style of writing code. I may have different style of writing code. How do you unify your development so that when you leave the team, if I know the same standard which you followed, I can immediately understand your code. You don't have to come and explain me your code. I can understand because we are all following standard. SAP also delivers their applications with the scaffolding standard. This was introduced from SAP UI5 version 1.32 onwards. So sometimes it may be possible that in your company, you are working with an old Fury app. Okay. Some of you may come back to me and Anubhav, I saw my Fury app in my company, but I don't see scaffolding there, Anubhav. This is fair enough because it was introduced in version 1.32. Now, apps which are older than that will not have scaffolding template. So what will you see in apps built in ओल्ड स्टाइल, पुराना स्टाइल का जो ऐप बना हुआ है, what will you see there? Okay, so you will see syntax called jQuery.sap.require. This is the old syntax, and jQuery.sap.define. These two syntax you will see in old Fury applications. Okay, old Fury application which are older than more than 2 years old. Okay, 2 साल पहले जो ऐप बना है उसमें ये देखोगे आप. और the developer who is inexperienced, some developers who learned UI5 like 4 years back, after that they have not updated themselves, they will also code like this. So if you would have learned my course 2 years back, or for maybe 3 years back, this UI5 course, then I was teaching this particular line of code, because that time scaffolding was not there. I'm keeping myself up to date always, so I can bring the latest and greatest and trending things in industry. So you never know nowhere go wrong. What does this statement does? This statement define. Actually, it's a declare. I'm so sorry. It's not define. SAP.declare. It's declare. So this statement declares a reusable JS module, and the above statement declares or declares that we want to use now that module. That's what this statement does. Okay? One to declare a fresh module and one to use a module inside another module. These two statements were used to. We're not going to spend time on this because this is something which is very old. Now we will introduce the new scaffolding template. What do we use to define a scaffolding template? What is the syntax? Very important, guys. This is the most important topic of entire course. अगर ये नहीं समझ में आया तो आगे कुछ भी नहीं समझ में आएगा. Let's write sap dot s must be small dot ui dot define. And now there are two sections, guys. The first section is an array, comma. Second section is function. Okay. How many sections we have in scaffolding definition? Anybody? How many sections we have in scaffolding definition? Anybody? How many sections we have in scaffolding? Two sections. The first section indicates dependencies. What is this first section is for? For dependency on other modules. Again, I repeat, dependencies on other modules. Okay. Dependencies on other modules. Watch this word called module. In yesterday's class also I showed you that whenever you have a class, it's sap.m.button. The corresponding module name will be sap slash m slash button, right? Dot को slash में convert कर दो, module name बन जाएगा. So that module name has to come here for any dependency. So you're going to write, let's say, a dependency on button class. So you're going to say sap slash m slash button. Just taking an example. Or you have your own file. So in that case, in case of when you have your own project file, खुद का आपका project file है, तो you will say module name slash your path where your module is. You have created your own JavaScript file. So you have to put your namespace, right? So you have namespace slash path. Your namespace comes into this picture because to identify address of a JavaScript file or any file in your project, you need to use namespace slash its path. So, and then what UI5 does, it automatically creates object of these things. इसका object बना देगा UI5. The moment you do this, SAP UI5 is going to create an object of these things and automatically pass those objects in sequential order to the function. So button का object बना देगा. You can name it anything, OBTN, whatever you like. Oh my module. So SAP UI5 in sequential order will pass the object of your module inside the scaffolding, inside your function. So in your function, you will get the object of the UI or object of the dependency in sequential order. Okay. So if you have defined 3 modules in sequence, तीनों का उसी ऑर्डर में आपको ऑब्जेक्ट यहाँ पे मिलेगा. And now inside this function you can write return statement, curly braces, and like this. Because it's a function. It's a function, that's why it has a return. Clear everybody? Since it's a function, it has a return. Inside this return now you like whatever you like. जो करना है करो. Do whatever you want to do, man. Okay. Inside this return now, do whatever you want to do. I will show you what is that we want to do. In this you will write your coda. Okay. What is coda? Coda is nothing but your code. I am just writing, making it some fun. It's just like coda. All your coda will be inside this. One of my friend in my company, he always used to write code as coda. Coda he used to do. So it got embedded into me also. So in this now you write your coda, whatever code you have, source code you wish to write, you can write inside this. Clear everybody? Is this syntax clear to every one of you? Is this syntax clear to every one of you? If the syntax is clear, then I can proceed and I will be able to show you now the first example for our scaffolding template. Clear everyone? The next important thing, how to create controllers.js file. Okay, let me repeat. Yamini saying repeat please. Okay, Yamini, once again, for just for you, what we do is scaffolding template is the way to define or create any JavaScript file in UI5. Whenever you create a JavaScript file, you would need some dependencies. You may or may not need. If you don't need, you can keep this section empty. If you need some dependencies, you can put those dependencies in an array separated with comma. And then what UI5 does, it creates an object automatically for those dependencies, for those classes, for those modules. And it passes those objects to you in the function. Yeah. In this function, you would finally return something out. The function is always going to return something. So this function would then return something out to you. And in this function, then you will write your coda, whatever coda you wish to write, you can write. So it can return also an object of something. It can return just an empty, this object, JSON object, it can return. So there are multiple ways by which you can return multiple things. Okay. Now coming to how to create a controller. If you want to create ever a controller, how to create controller.js. Now guys, can you tell me what is controller? What type of file the controllers are in SAP UI5? What type of files controllers are? What type of file controllers are? What type of file controllers are? What type of file controllers are? They are JavaScript file. Again, you see .js. Now, what is my golden rule? What is my funda fox? Whenever you have JavaScript file, which syntax do you use to define JavaScript file? Anybody, whenever you have JavaScript file, which syntax do you use? Just now I gave you funda fox. You all have forgot. Which syntax, whenever you have a JavaScript file as part of your project, which syntax do you use to be able to create that JS file? You will use scaffolding syntax. You will use scaffolding syntax. So golden rule says it could be any JavaScript file, it could be controller.js or anything. You will always use JavaScript scaffolding template. Clear everybody? Whenever you have a JavaScript file, always use scaffolding template. Any file with .js extension, always use scaffolding template. So how to create controller.js? So whenever you're creating controller, guys, it may happen that you tomorrow create 5 controllers or 2 controllers. This is, let's say, your controller for view 1. This is for view 1. And then there is another controller called view2.controller.js. Okay, guys, you have 2 controllers, one for view 1, one for view 2. Now, can you tell me, anybody, don't you think there will be some common functionality which both of these controllers would ever need? Anyone? Don't you think that you have multiple classes in your project and these two classes would probably need some common functionality. It's a fair requirement. It will always happen in a company. You build something, somebody else want to reuse it, right? So what do you do to reuse something in object oriented world? Anybody? What do you do to reuse something in object oriented world? If there are two controllers, they want to use some same functionality. What do you do? What do you do? Perfect answer. You do inheritance. Very good. Very good answer. You do inheritance. So what you do is you write something called base controller. This base controller then inherit from the view one. This base controller is then inherited by the view one and view two controller. This is like a super class. Parent class, mother class, super class, base class, ये सब इसी के नाम है. Same concept, different names. Okay, same concept, different names. Sub, base class, mother class, parent class, सुपर क्लास, ये सारा सब कुछ संसार इसी में समाया हुआ है. It's everything is this. All of these are same concept. Clear everybody? Base controller you're gonna create. This base controller is gonna be the base for you. Then you will do a dependency. Do you see now here there is a dependency? Do you see guys there is a dependency now? This base controller should be inherited by these child controllers. Do you see a dependency got created? Yeah. Are you getting this flow? Are you getting this flow that a dependency has been created? So don't you think the moment you have a dependency, we would need a scaffolding template? The dependency will be helpful for you. But before we move on, let's see yesterday when we create our project, what it created. What it created yesterday when we created our project, what it created. So let's come back. You saw I did not open this guy yesterday. I go inside now. You see there is a dependency. See guys, dependency SAP UI define. Don't you see this is scaffolding template? And then you have an array. Inside this array, we are writing dependency. So if you ever want to create a controller, you will always use SAP UI Core MVC controller class. This is a standard module you have to use to define a controller file. So see guys, not just this one. If you observe what we also do is above the base controller, we also have one more base class which comes from SAP UI5 framework. Okay, which comes from SAP UI5 framework, and the class name is SAP UI for MVC controller, which is actually the way to define any controller. So whenever you want to create controllers in your project, always follow this design pattern. This is called template design pattern. In this, you will have a top class which is coming standard. To define any controller, this is what SAP told. This is the standard class you should use whenever you want to create controller. SAP made this rule of the game. SAP says, hey, if you want to create a controller, use this class as a base class always. So first of all, when you create base controller, you will make this class as a base class for base controller and define the dependency on the base controller, and then child controllers can easily be created base controller. Don't you think this is the grandparent class जो आपके आपके दादाजी से आपके पापा को मिला, वो आपके पापा से आपको मिलेगा ही मिलेगा. Don't you think this is the golden rule of inheritance? Whatever you have today, you have got from your parent, would have been received by your parent, by the grandparent. Clear everybody? Same thing is applying here. The MVC controller class is minimum, bare minimum. It is most mandatory thing to define a controller. We created a base controller on it, and then base controller we are using to inherit by the view 1 and view 2. As a result of that, this one and this one, both functionality will come to your child classes for free. Is that clear everybody? What we will do going forward when we are creating the setup for our controller. Is the design clear to everybody? If the design is clear, implementation effort is zero. 90% is design, 10% is coding. 90% if your design is correct, you will never go wrong. 10% is the coding effort. Clear everybody? How do we achieve this? Right now, just see what is happening. Is SAP UI Core MVC controller class, which we are inheriting. You can see it's passing the object. You remember the scaffolding? We put dependency, uska object automatically UI5 pass karega aapko. And then it is returning something. It's returning a base class which is SAP UI5 class. Usko extend kar diya isne. Extend is the keyword to define inheritance. And then the namespace, pura address. You remember we gave namespace Jerry web app folder dot controller dot anubhav dot controller dot js. That's what we give here. The name what we are returning out. It is an inherited class from inheritance. We are returning this object, and in this now we are returning again something. What is that something? Nothing but your methods which you have inside your controller. We created a method kill me, show some power. These methods which we created, they're all written. However, you also see some other methods. We're going to discuss about them in later units. They're called hook methods. We're going to talk about it later. But right now, are you guys clear with the syntax of creating controllers? Everybody in the room, are you guys clear with creating syntax of creating controller? Right, let me right now move these two methods, cut it and put it in a notepad file, and I'm going to delete this whole code and I'm going to rewrite this whole code. Okay, तभी समझ में आएगा. I'm going to rewrite this whole code. Then you will be more clear, guys. What am I doing? Let's do that. So I'm going to say sap.ui.define. It's scaffolding template. And then I'm going to say, hey, first section is my dependencies in an array. And second section is function with the objects which we will receive. My function is going to return something always out. Is this scaffolding template clear to everybody? ये ब्लाइंड फोल्ड होके ये डाल देना. कभी भी जीएस फाइल मिल जाए ना, इसको चिपका देना, आंख बंद करके ये सिंटैक्स चिपका देना. Will you all remember this or will you forget this? This is the base for you going forward. If you cannot understand this, UI5 is always going to be tricky for you. If you cannot understand this, UI5 will forever is challenging for you. Is this scaffolding? Is ये जन्म है, ये ओम है, ये सृष्टि का रचयिता है, ये रचना करता है ये कंट्रोलर्स की, ये रचना करता है जावास्क्रिप्ट फाइल्स की. दिस इज द स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट. दिस इज ओम. दिस इज ओम फॉर यू. जस्ट द वे this whole world, this whole universe is started from Om Jyoti. Similarly, this is the starting point for everything, guys. This is the Srajan Karta. This is Brahma. This is Brahma for SAP UI5. sap.ui.define. कहीं भी चले जाना किसी भी प्रोजेक्ट में, इसके बिना सरवाइव नहीं कर पाओगे. Scaffolding template, the top notch concept of UI5. Scaffolding template. Is this clear to everybody? Whether you create a controller file or any other JavaScript file, this is the syntax, guys. ये फॉलो करना ही पड़ेगा आपको. Now, coming to controller part. So this is a GS file. That's why I created this. Now, मैं क्या बना रहा हूँ? I am creating a controller. Can anybody tell me which class is mandatorily required to create a controller object in UI5? If I want to create controller, which standard SAP UI5 class I would need as my base class? So I would need SAP UI Core MVC controller class as my base class. That is the class name. So what will be the module name? This is the class name. So what will be the module name? This is the class name. So what will be the module name? Just replace dot with the slash becomes the module name. So SAP slash UI slash core slash MVC slash controller. Is that clear, everybody? Just replace dot with the slash becomes the module name for scaffolding. Is this clear? कंट्रोलर का सी बड़ा मेरे दोस्त विवेक, कंट्रोलर का सी बड़ा तकलीफ हो जाएगा आपको. जावास्क्रिप्ट इज केस सेंसिटिव. कंट्रोलर का सी बड़ा विवेक, सो वो छोटा मत कर देना. आर यू गाइस क्लियर? आर यू गाइस क्लियर? Why what is happening here. To create a controller, this is a dependency now. Okay, let's use this. Let's use this. I can come back. I just put this dependency, and now the dependency object will be passed here automatically in sequential order. एक ही dependency एक ही object मिलेगा. Now I'll say इससे inherit कर लो boss. Whatever I'm creating, I'm saying this dot extend keyword. Please inherit, and I'm gonna give name of my controller, the full address. So guys, what is the address of my Anubhav controller? Who will tell me? Who is the favorite cartoon character of Monica? Jerry, perfect. Just put Jerry dot controller folder dot Anubhav. That's the address, comma, curly braces, and this is the whole return thing. I'm returning an extended object of base class. I'm extending the base standard UI5 class. उसको extend करके I'm returning an object of that. Inside this now you can write your functions. Let's bring back both our functions. So function name syntax to write function here is function name colon function parameters if you have curly braces. This is the syntax to write functions in UI5. Yeah, that's what exactly we're doing. JavaScript में थोड़ा अलग था, यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा अलग है. That's what we write. And somebody was asking, Anubhav, can we do code segment like PT printer? Can we do code alignment? Yes, it's a JS file. You can do it. Control A, right click. You can choose beautify, or you can choose Control Alt B. So select all, Control Alt B. ये देखो beautification कर दिया. This is pretty printer option in JS files, applicable only for JS file and XML files in SAP Web IDE. Here everybody, multiple concepts we have learned. Let us go ahead. इतना आसान नहीं है, सीधा बना देते हैं लोग, कॉपी पेस्ट कर देते हैं, समझते नहीं है पूरा चीज, और बाद में जाके प्रोडक्शन में रोते हैं. This is the problem, guys. Never copy paste the code, guys. If you are my student, please, my humble request to all of you, हाथ जोड़ रहा हूं मैं, please go ahead and write every single line of code. Don't copy paste. Don't cheat yourself. You can cheat anybody in the world, but you can't cheat yourself. तुम्हारा आत्मा तुमको बोलेगा कि मैं गलत कर रहा हूं या गलत कर रही हूं. Whenever everybody does mistake in life, ever you try to do something wrong with somebody else or yourself or something wrong, your atma, your inner soul will come and tell you, hey, this is not fair. I am doing wrong. आत्मा आपको गवारेगा, बोलेगा कि गलत कर रहे हैं. So never copy paste the code. After you understand concept, please copy paste. Please copy paste once you understand concept to speed up your development. उसके बाद तो copy paste रुकना ही नहीं चाहिए. उसके बाद तो copy paste ही करना चाहिए, क्योंकि आपको कोड आता है पूरा. You can speed up your development. Believe me, you will never go wrong. Any production issue you can crack it so easily. So easily you can crack it. Okay, now line number 9. I didn't get what you mean by line number 9. In line number 9 refers to Jerry. Where is line number 9? Line number 9 is this. It has nothing to refer here. Okay, you mean to say this one? This. Okay, yes, you're right. This pointer is indicating the object of your controller. Perfect. Yes, you're right. This pointer is pointing to the object of your controller. You're absolutely right. That's what is happening. You're right. The name of your controller has to come. Many people do mistake while writing this. Yesterday I got an email. In that there was a spelling mistake in the name. So controller में O गायब कर दिया. Anubhav, my output is not coming. Anubhav, my output is not coming. Guys, please, at least give some shot. Why am I uploading the programs into training blog? For you to refer, na? Download करके compare करो. There are hundreds and thousands of tools on internet. Compare online. एक बार तबीयत से कोड कंपेयर करके तो देखो कि कहाँ मिस्टेक कर रहे हो. दिस इज अ डिफरेंस चेकर हियर. एटलीस्ट चेक द डिफरेंस ना बॉस. Now you see, this will tell you the difference. Where are you doing wrong? See guys on the top. It told you exactly the difference. ये करते ही तुमको पता चल जाएगा कि कहां पे मिस्टेक है. Put on the left side my code, this whole code put on the left side, and put on the right side your code. If you've done some spelling mistake, let's say this one, I intentionally do this now. You see, you've done some spelling mistake, do a difference checker. Now you see, तुरंत पता चल रहा है कि कहाँ mistake है. Why are you doing काम चोरी? Why are you afraid of doing coding? Why are you afraid of doing hard work? Where is that student gone? Where is that engineering student gone? How many semesters we have in engineering? Anybody? How many semesters we have in engineering? 8 semesters, right? Recall that student जो तुम में ही था. कहाँ गया वो student जो 8 semester में, every semester, how many books we have in each semester? 6 subjects we have. For each subject, I used to read 3 different books. One for Indian author, one for foreign author, and one for reference book. उसके ऊपर भी कुंजी, उसके ऊपर भी last year के questions. How many midterms you have in one semester? 3 midterm exams and 1 final exam, isn't it? 8 semester, each semester have 6 subject, each subject has 3 books. And then on top you have mini project, you have minor project, you have friends, you have parties, you have events, you have placements, you have mini projects, you have major projects, you have 4 laboratories. For that you have to prepare the files. 4 lab का file बनाना पड़ता था साहब. 4 laboratories separately, you have to attend the laboratories, attendance there, and then you have to create files for instrumentation, applied electronics, microprocessor, सबका file बनाना पड़ता था अलग से. And then you have 6 subjects, each subject has 3 books, and then 3 midterms and 1 final exam. इतना किसने किया था? आपने किया था. And that too by paying money to the college. You paid money to the college for doing this. Here you are getting paid off for what you're learning. Here whatever you're learning, you will get paid off for that. जिससे जो आज लग्जरी आ रहा है आपको, जो आईफोन आप खरीद रहे हो, जो गाड़ी आप खरीद रहे हो, all that luxury is coming because of this. And you are afraid of doing this one, or you are putting this one on your last priority. You are putting this whole thing on the last priority in your items. बाकी 50 चीजें आप करते हो, इसको आप लास्ट में रखते हो जिससे सारी लग्जरी आपको मिल रही है. This should be a top priority, guys. Learning should be a top priority. This should be a top priority because this is what is getting you luxury. This is what is getting you the lifestyle which you are living today. This should be a top priority. जिस दिन अपनी प्रायोरिटी की लिस्ट में लर्निंग को टॉप पे डाल दिया, उस दिन आपको कोई रोक नहीं सकेगा करियर ग्रोथ में. ये मेरा चैलेंज है, लिख लो आप. This is my challenge to you. Nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you the day you change your priorities. The day you put this as your priority. 2 घंटा मांग रहा हूं बस. Give me 2 hours except the class daily for practice. 40 hours, 40 days. These 2 months. That's it. Recall your engineering days, guys. I want that same student back. वहां पे तो इतने subject थे. This is only one subject here. Please get me that student, that engineering student I want to see in each one of you. अपने आप को तोड़ दो, लगा दो जितना जोर लगा सकते हो. Let's see कौन रोकेगा आपको. कोई नहीं रोक सकता है. Impossible. भगवान खुद नहीं रोक पाएंगे आपको. If God comes on earth and God says, I want to stop you, they also cannot stop you. But you have to put this on your top priority. Difference checker. Very easy to find out the difference between your code and my code. You can quickly identify where you went wrong and you will be able to do it easily. Very easily, guys. Coming back. So that's my code. Let's test it. We made some changes. Let's test it quickly. I'm going to run this and let's say kill me not working initially, of course, as expected. And now I'm going to click on apply event and voila, you can see it works. Same code is working fine. This time I have removed the code and rewritten to explain you how the controller works. अभी कौन सा डिजाइन है? In this design, what do we have right now? Is this the right design? Is this how we have designed currently? Is this our design right now? Do you think this is our current design? Anybody? What is our current design? No. It is partially, it is actually like this. Your inheritance is today happening directly from SAP UI controller in your main controller. Clear everybody? This is the current design. This design is the current design we have. अभी ये वाला design है हमारा. Shall we move to this design now? Yes, why not? चलो बनाते हैं base controller. Let's go ahead guys. Let's make the base controller. Go to controller, create a new file, call it as base controller dot yes. Scaffolding template, SAP UI define, put an array, comma function, and return this something out of this function. It will return something out. And now in the array, we are going to write dependency as usual, the standard SAP UI5. SAP, you look at the design. Base controller inherits from standard module. SAP UI core से ये inherit करेगा. चलो, SAP UI core MVC controller. This is the base controller. I am extending it now. So controller dot extend. Let's give the name, full path of this. There is the favorite cartoon character. अभी देखो मिस्टेक कर रहा था मैं, डबल आर लिख दिया था मैंने. Controller dot base controller. That's what I'm returning out. And now here you can write reusable code which can be used by any child controller. Okay. And now I can come back. यहाँ पे अब base class क्या होगा? Who will tell me? As per our design, what will be the base class in your actual controller? Who will be the base class of your actual controller now? यहाँ पे अब base class क्या होगा? What will be the base class in your actual view वाले controller में? The one, which one? The base controller will be the base class here. See, base is inheriting from this, and now you inherit the base. Yeah. So base will be the class here. So you just have to put here what is the address of base controller? Who will tell me? If you can tell this answer, I will be assured that you understood the scaffolding. What will be the address of my base controller? Who will tell me what is the address of base controller? No, Vivek, incorrect answer. What is the module name? Again, I repeat, what is the module name? Perfect. Deepak has got the right answer. It's Jerry slash controller slash base controller. Module name. And now you can name it as anything. You can keep it controller, no problem. You can also keep it base controller. It's your choice. Okay, you can call it base controller. It doesn't matter. It's just the name of the object you're declaring for that dependency which you put on the top. Let's save it. Come back and test it quickly to see कुछ fail तो नहीं हो रहा है, कुछ गड़बड़ तो नहीं हो गया है. Let's come back and test my testing for new design, which is perfect. Controller design is success. I will eat some junk food today. Appreciate yourself guys when you do something good. खुद को appreciate करो, उससे आपको motivation मिलेगा. Appreciate yourself. Give some gift to yourself. जब कुछ अच्छा करते हो, you will feel proud on yourself ना. Give some appreciation to yourself. खुद से बात करो, खुद को appreciate करो कि देखो मैंने ये कर दिया, कोई नहीं कर सकता मेरी कंपनी में ये. None of my colleague can do this. I have done it. Appreciate yourself. This will give you motivation. Click on button not working. Click on here. Click here. Voila. You see still working, which means your connectivity for the base controller is fine. If there would have been any problem, the object of core controller class wouldn't have inherited to the child class till date. It's working, which is a testimonial that your connection to the base controller and base to the super core controller is fine. Is that clear, everybody? The scaffolding template, the base controller concept, this is the most powerful concept in entire SAP UI5, the scaffolding template and restructuring it with a proper controller design. अभी देखो मजा दिखाता हूँ, यहाँ पे एक मेथड डाल दो, शो अप, और इसमें डाल दो अलर्ट स्टेटमेंट, या डाल दो माई मैसेज, whatever message you will give, it will give you an alert pop-up. Okay, just do that, guys. Watch out. Show pop-up is now reusable. You can come here, instead of giving alert, don't you think I can call this dot show pop-up? Anybody? Here, everyone. The power of reusability. Do you see this? Do you get this? This dot show pop-up. Is this a method in my current controller? No. Lekin it is there in the base class. So it gets inherited automatically to the child class. Is that clear, everybody? The power of reuse. This is what will happen. So if you need 100 places show pop-up, you don't have to create 100 times. Because it's there in the base controller, every child controller can reuse it. Every child controller can reuse it, guys. This is the perfect example of reuse of base method. That's the advantage. I'm gonna save this. Let's come back and test it. Testing is very important after every step. कुछ गड़बड़ तो नहीं हो जा रहा है. This is now alert from base method. Let's apply. It's not working. See, guys, when I click on kill me, it's not working. Anybody? Who is your best friend when your output does not come? Who is your best friend when your output does not come? Tom is your best friend. Tom is your best friend. And you see this dot show pop-up is not a function. The reason is very simple. This object, this pointer object, है ना अपने पास में? This pointer object, this one, this is representing only the current controller object here. ये base controller के object को represent नहीं करता है. Okay, this happens only in case of JavaScript views. If your view type is JavaScript, this is a disadvantage of JavaScript view. It is not representing the object of base controller here. Okay, guys. So to avoid this disadvantage, also we will use the concept of something called XML views. But right now you can also, I think we can use this base controller dependency here to call it the base controller dependency dot show pop-up I am using now. If you see the console, it says this dot show pop-up is not a function. Reason being, this will currently containing the object of current controller only. Okay, so I can now say testing, tester, and now it's still not working. So this is a challenge, guys, with respect to JavaScript view. You see a limitation here with JavaScript view. It's unable to call the base controller method. It's unable to call it, guys. This is a challenge right now we are facing with respect to the JavaScript view. That's why we will move to XML views, and the same code I will show you in XML view, it will work. Okay, so it's not accepting this object properly when it comes to JavaScript view. That is the reason we will switch to no. Ramana, that's not correct. Don't confuse. That equals to this is for some other purpose. Okay. So right now this code is not working. I will switch back the code to old code, which is alert pop-up directly value. And tomorrow's class, when we will talk about the XML views, we will run the same code again. We're going to run the same code again, converting this view to XML view. And then we will see the main advantage, how the XML view will behave. In that case, this pointer will, in case of XML view, by default will contain the object of super class automatically. Yeah, so that time this method will also naturally start working. That's why we don't use also the JavaScript view much. There are more reasons to switch to XML views. I'm going to explain that in the next unit. Also in a good interview question. So first reason to switch to XML view is this one, where this pointer is holding the object of only and only current controller. It cannot talk to the base controller also in this case. Hence, we will switch to the XML view. Did you get the first motivation switching to XML view? Yeah. With that, it's a wrap. See you on Monday morning. Time for your questions, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about your questions. Let me pick it up from chat window first of all, and then I'll open up your line for it. So there's a question here in chat window. Sometime back it was posted. Can we inherit more than one base class using scaffolding? Absolutely, you can, but base class will be only one. This extend keyword can only be used with one object. You can inherit, however, multiple objects. For example, just a small example, little heavy dose, guys. Those who want to understand, they can, otherwise you can ignore. I want to use a standard SAP UI5 class again. I want to use a class SAP/M/message box. This is a standard SAP UI5 class for messaging, for opening messages. Yeah. Now I'll just add this object here, O message box, whatever you like, you can name it. You can name it as O Spider-Man also, doesn't matter. So what will happen by default sequential order? First object will be passed in this first object, and second dependency module will be passed in second object. Oh Spider-Man, watch out. I will instead of alert now say, oh Spider-Man dot, and I want to give a pop-up. Yeah, so I will say confirm pop-up and I'll say value. This is what I want to display to the user. Yeah. What will happen? Oh Spider-Man, if you look at, it's an object of message box API in UI5. This message box API offers me a confirm message, and watch out guys now. Let's come back, refresh. So now you see you have multiple dependencies here. That's why it's an array, guys. That's why it's an array. But when it comes to the base class, exactly, you can only have one class as a base class. You can't have multiple classes as base class. Only one class can be created as base class, base.extend, but multiple dependencies can be added and can be reused like this. Yeah, let's come back and test it now. So you can come back, refresh, and let's test it. So I will first say, wow, first look of UI5 message. Apply the event. Now say, kill me. Boom, there you go. You can see this is the kind of messages you might have seen in your life in SAP UI5 Fiori applications. So you might have seen this app, these pop-ups. This is how they create it. They don't do any magic. This is a pop-up which comes from SAP UI5 library, message box API in SAP UI5. Hope it is clear. How do we use dependencies as part of our applications? You can see this is how the dependencies will help you in long term to be able to define all the parent objects and then corresponding inheriting it. One quick update. Most of the videos started working thanks to the team who is working behind this. And only one video right now we have a problem. You can see here only this video we have a problem. Other two videos are now back in its original state with this pop out button, so you guys can proceed. We are working again continuously hard towards fixing this one else as well. Once we fix this, we will update you. You will anyways will be able to see that also here. Any questions on the line now? Everybody, any questions on the line? Please feel free to ask your questions on the line. Your lines, you can unmute and ask your question.
Hello.
Yes. Hi, Madkiran.
Yeah, hi, Ando. Actually, I want to know how do we identify array or function. In yesterday's example, you showed me press with array controller dot event name, comma, and o controller. So how do we identify on press? We need to write an array. Do we need to by heart it, or can you show me that?
Sorry, which one? Again, can you please repeat?
In yesterday's example, you showed me press array o controller dot event name comma and o controller. It is in view.
Yes, so here we are passing the controller object to the event handler
Yeah,
method. If we don't
yeah,
pass it,
it's
what
an
will
array.
happen? Yes, yes.
So how do we identify on press? We need to follow the array. Why do we need to follow the array?
Yes, this is what I also explained yesterday. Don't do it, it will give you an error. If you don't do this, save this. And now let me debug. I go back,
No, no.
I put a debugger here. And now
Uh,
let's come back and
Sorry,
refresh.
my question.
This is, go ahead, please, your question again.
Yeah, actually, my question is you have added array boxes, right? Array brackets.
Yes.
That is my question. Why you have added
Okay,
array?
that's a syntax
Uh,
actually. I'm so sorry. That's
yeah,
actually syntax. This is a
do
syntax
we need to
itself.
buy hard it?
Yes, you need to by heart it. That is the syntax when it comes to JavaScript views. Only JavaScript views. But good news for you, only 10% JavaScript projects are there. Every single project today is on XML views. 99% in fact today, if you see any project will use XML view only. So you don't have to use that syntax at all. Okay.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
again to repeat this, you can see when I debugger, when my debugger is hitting, I am just checking now. I remove that syntax, and when I check it, I find out that this pointer is holding object of what? If you open this, you see it's holding object of button control. जिसने वो event fire किया उसका object hold करता है. It is not holding the object of controller. Hence, when you do this dot get view, it will fail. See? Because this is the object of button, not the controller object. So we have to explicitly pass the controller object to the event handler to tell the controller, hey event handler, please use this pointer as controller object. So that's why you have to by heart it. You have to say here syntax. You have to by heart the syntax. Yes, JavaScript
Oh,
view. XML view it's natural. XML views will pass this object naturally, and that's what we'll see tomorrow. That's why this base controller thing also did not work, because in case of JavaScript view, this pointer is only holding the object of current controller. वो base का object hold ही नहीं कर रहा है, इसलिए problem हो जा रहा है. Okay, that's the problem. So now this pointer is, now watch out. I added the syntax. Now watch out. Come back, refresh. And now you see this pointer. Take this pointer, go to console, and this dot get view, which was not working. You'll see it will work. It will give you the view object. See, it's working. It's giving view object. Why? Because this pointer is now holding the controller object. Earlier it was holding the button object. Now it is holding controller object because you pass the controller object to the event handler manually using that syntax. That's the syntax. Okay. What is the difference between
yeah.
UI5 and Fiori? UI5 is the framework, is the technology. Fiori is the guideline. Okay. Fiori is the guideline. We are going to learn Fiori in upcoming days. The best practice guideline. You don't create the app with your own style. You have to follow certain guidelines, and these guidelines you must follow. Okay. Mad, can we see your screen now? Mad, can you please unmute your line, Mad? Can we see your screen? Please share your screen, let's see. Maybe you have sent it over the evening, so I did not saw that. Please share your screen now. We will quickly check that out. I can hear you, Mad.
Yeah,
It will give you a
yes,
pop-up.
I share my screen.
Yeah, it will say open in GoToMeeting opener. Some pop-up will come. Just choose that. Add the plugin in the browser. It will download, and then you will be able to share your screen with me.
Okay.
Did you get the request of presentation sharing already? Okay, fine. So there is a question here, and let me take that. In SAP UI5 library in our application in production, do we need to pay license fee to SAP? Yes, you need to pay license fee. That will be paid as part of NetWeaver subscription. So if you have a production system, SAP ABAP system, you already have paid the fees for NetWeaver license. उसी के अंदर already they would have charged the licensing fee for SAP UI5. Okay. Would you cover JSON views? We will just see one example for JSON and HTML views. We'll not have a deep dive inside JSON views. Our majority of the time we'll spend with XML views. Mad, I still don't see your screen. Can you please share, Mad? Can you please share your screen, Mad?
Yes, yes. Actually, switching to desktop version.
Okay. Yes, we can see your screen. Please go ahead. Please unmute your line. The small mic button is there to unmute your line. Please unmute your line, Matt. I cannot hear you. You got to unmute your line. There is a mic button in the GoToMeeting tool. Yeah, you just unmuted and muted again. Just unmute, please. Yeah, now I
Okay,
hear
okay.
you.
Yeah. I
Let's
hope you
wait.
are able to.
Let's see one thing. Who will answer this question? It's very easy to answer. Very, very easy to answer. Who will answer this question? Do you see Matt's screen, guys? Every one of you. Who will tell me what is the issue? Some people are saying capital letter is an issue for script. That's the best practice for script tag. Ideally, it should be in small letter, but that's not exactly the issue here. Who will tell me what is the issue? देखते हैं कौन कितना practice कर रहा है. Let's see. Who can tell me, guys, what is the answer? What is the solution here for this issue? Anybody? What do you think is the solution for this issue? I told you one Panda Fox, Mad. You forgot that, Mad. Panda Fox, you forgot. There was one Panda Fox which I taught all of you. Very good answer. Surya has given every statement must end with semicolon. Mad. Line number 14, it should end with semicolon. Line number 15, end with semicolon. This is the first mistake. The second mistake, JavaScript is case sensitive. Var must be small letter. Var must be small letter. And now still there is a problem. You can see your script end tag is actually not highlighted still. There is some problem. Can you also change script tag as a best practice to small letters? Script tag in small letters as a best practice. And above upar wala bhi. This is best practice. This won't make sense. I mean, this won't affect anything, but yeah, still we are making. Save it and run it now, please. Can you see a button on the UI? You have forgot to give the text property for the button, and that is the reason it's not working. Did you put a chance to, you see, you have given the property a name as test, not text.
Okay.
I am happy you are writing the code. You are not copy pasting the code. But one more thing I expect from you, if you can start comparing your code with my code, will be very, very helpful, man. You will save a lot of time. You're going to get more things from me.
Okay.
Please test it now. I'm sure it will work. Without seeing your code, we all have told you the answer. There you go. That's your output.
Yeah. Thank
थोड़ा
you.
सा और एफर्ट डालिए सर, थोड़ा सा और कंसंट्रेशन से वीडियो देखिए, थोड़ा सा कंसंट्रेशन से कोड देखिए, आप कर लोगे. If you can do this much, you will definitely do further. Little more effort I expect from you. You will be able to do more. Thank you so much,
Surely.
guys. See you on Monday morning. Have a nice day. Goodbye.